Welcome to the Air Canada Centre in downtown Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan with you. Big East Division rivalry game tonight. The New England Black Wolves in town against the Toronto Rock. Shanny, the Rock upset last week in Buffalo. 15-12 went down to the Bandits. And the New England Black Wolves just have not been able to get on track this year. They show flashes, but now you're without Sean Evans as well.
Yeah, they lost their first 3 games of the season, so they got off to a terrible start. And they're trying to dig themselves out of a hole. Looked like they were going to go on a run, but then they've stumbled every time things were going where it looked like they were turning it around. But now losing Sean Evans is absolutely huge. Sean Evans is one of the best lacrosse players in the world. In fact, 2 years ago, he was designated the best player in the world, coming off an MVP season, led Canada to a World Cup of lacrosse. He's won at every level of lacrosse, junior, senior, NLL, and has been MVP multiple times. So losing him is absolutely huge. This is gut check time for the New England Black Wolves if they want to try to do something without him. Hopefully, it's only a week or two that he's out.
Sure.
But if it's any longer than that, I can't see them doing anything this year.
No, that could be the season. So what that means is all the pressure, all the focus goes to Kevin Crowley. And he's had 5 hat tricks this season. We know the type of player he is, so big, physical, a guy who can go quiet for a period of time and then just burn you for 3, 4, 5 points at will.
Yeah, I know he's a real smart player, and he's a big, strong guy. He's got a great outside shot. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they will rely on him a lot more, especially as far as the right shooters go. But it's not just him. They need goals from the Buchanans. They made a big deal. They traded Pat Saunders, former 40-goal scorer for them last year, but just wasn't putting the ball in the net this year. So they traded him, and they also picked up Darryl Veltman from Buffalo. It was actually 2 different deals, but effectively Veltman's replaced Saunders, and Veltman's been pretty quiet as well. So they hope to get some more production out of him. Maybe the change of scenery will help him.
Now you look at the Toronto Rock. Nick Rose still leads the NLL with a 9.36 goals against average. That's on top. So think of that. Think how low it was before that 15-goal game in Buffalo. How well he has done. And I think, Shanny, this is a game where the Rock can, especially without Sean Evans, really try to get back to what they are, and that's a shut-down, clamp-it-down team, and I think we're going to see Rose and the defense shine.
Yeah, Toronto Rock has had success this year keeping teams under 10 goals and getting a lot of balanced scoring offensively, and they really feel that they weren't their best last week against the Buffalo Bandits, and they need a rebound game. This is a must-win for them, even though we're only 8 games in the season, almost halfway through. That this is a must-win as much as anything could be. So expect them to come out really hard. And as far as New England goes, this has got to be, like I mentioned earlier, a gut check. They're going to have to play a shutdown game, and it should be an interesting one because both teams are fairly desperate right now.
And this weekend could set the playoff tone and help clarify the picture in the East Division because you have Buffalo and Rochester with a home and home. So you have those two. So if one team sweeps or if they split, whatever New England does tonight, and if Toronto wants to keep pace with the Georgia Swarm for top spot in the East, this is also an important game. So every team has something to play for.
Yeah, and you know what? Toronto earlier on looked like they were separating themselves from the pack, other than Georgia up top.
Sure.
And they don't want to fall back with this group that are fighting for that 3rd spot. Right now, you've got the Bandits 3-5, and a couple of teams, Rochester and New England, 3-6. Toronto doesn't want to be competing with them at all, so they need to separate themselves to secure at least the 2nd place spot and to pull away from those guys. They don't want to get in that battle with those teams. But you're right, important weekend, not just for the 2 teams here, but Rochester and Buffalo playing each other twice. A sweep by either one of those teams could be over. Could mean the end for the other team. Yeah.
And Shanny, finally, special teams is going to be interesting this evening because both of these clubs are the 2 worst on the power play in the NLL. You have New England 8th, the Rock 9th, and then when you look at the penalty kill, New England ranked 4th, and Toronto Rock 8th. So despite all Toronto's success, the struggles on special teams have still continued.
Yeah, I'm more surprised for New England that their power play has struggled because they basically have the same team, or they started off with the same team as last year. Toronto, if you speak to the coaching staff and management in Toronto, they said they expected this because there was a lot of turnover, so they knew they would struggle to find the chemistry in the power play and the man short with so many new faces. You could probably say the same defensively for New England, but not offensively. But the funny thing is, despite one of their games that they might say was their worst game, last week in Buffalo. It was the one game where their power play
right.
They were 5 for 7, the Toronto Rock. So that was one positive they took out of that. They're not extremely worried about those numbers because they felt going into the season they'd have to work at that.
So that could be an X factor to watch for tonight. Okay, we'll take the break, come back. New England Black Wolves and the Toronto Rock.
With this one.
And through the screen, count it! Odd man rush, pass on the crease, over by Rose.
Don't underestimate the force.
Edward scores, top shells with a bullet. Right. One pass scores. Back to the point, to Hickey, count it.
The force is with you.
Schreiber on the left side, Schreiber, and a one touch on the crease, scores! Schreiber, what a setup!
Impressive.
Scores! Runs it in, Schreiber scores! Buries it.
It is your destiny.
Fans, at this time, please welcome tonight's guests for the Fan Tunnel and Anthem lineup, the Arthur Aces. All right, fans, we're back at the ACC. Are you ready? No. Let's hear it again. Are you ready? All right, fans, it's time to get on your feet and make it loud and welcome your Toronto Rock! Number 6, Kieran McCardle. Number 11, Brett Hickey. Number 17, Stefan LeBlanc. Number 20, Bradley Cree. Number 22, Phil Caputo. Number 23, Jalen Rogers. Number 26, how about Tom Schreiber? Your captain, number 37, Brody Merrill. Number 41, Dan Lintner. Number 44, Jeff Gilbert. Number 45, Damon Edwards. Number 82, Jordan Magnuson. Number 91, Billy Hustrauser. Number 93, Latrell Harris. Black Wolves.
Okay, fans, at this time, we're going to ask you to please rise, remove your hats, and welcome Scotty Newlands for the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Right now, we'll ask you to please extend a warm Toronto Rock welcome to the Upper Canada College Prep School Grade 7 Band and Grade 6 and 7 Choir under the direction of Catherine Edmondson and Paul McGarr for the performance of O Canada.
Welcome to the Air Canada Centre in downtown Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan as we get set for Week 10 action in the National Lacrosse League East Division battle tonight. The Toronto Rock face off against the New England Black Wolves. It is Star Wars night, folks, so I'm sure you'll hear and see lots of Star Wars puns, costumes, and all that good stuff, Shanny. But in all seriousness, this is a very important weekend for the East Division overall. You have back-to-back matchups between Buffalo and Rochester, one going on right now. The Georgia Swarm play against Calgary, and tonight the Rock at 5-3 sit in second, but the Black Wolves can jump right back into this East Division race with a fourth win this evening.
No, absolutely. We've got three teams that have 3 wins and tied, virtually tied for third place. Rochester and New England each have 6 losses. Buffalo have 5. So any one of those teams is in a playoff position, and Toronto Rock's not that far ahead at 5-3.
No, not at all. Now, we were talking to both coaches before the game. For the Toronto Rock, we learned Turner Evans is out with an ankle injury, the opposite ankle of his cousin, Sean Evans, also with an ankle.
Absolutely, yes. Sean, and both freak accidents, really. Like Sean Evans just went over in his ankle last week with nobody near him. Just caught a ball, and, it almost resembled the Cody Jamieson injury we saw a few years ago when he went down at center floor. That turned out to be a lot more serious. I think
no
it was
contact.
Like a calf or something with Cody Jamieson
when he just stopped. The scariest ones are no contact and they just fall.
Yeah, so I think the fear was originally with Sean Evans it might be the knee, but it turns out it's an ankle, and they don't know the extent of it yet. They don't think it's broken, but he's going to be going for an MRI soon to make sure.
Right, and a couple of young players to keep an eye on for the New England Black Wolves to try to step up. You're not going to replace Sean Evans. We know that.
No.
But a guy like Riley O'Connor, who had a recent outburst, 8th overall pick in this past NLL draft, Seth Oakes. And they also know now that although Evan Kirk is the defending NLL goaltender of the year, he's been spotty this year. Glenn Clark says it's not his fault per se, but we saw a nice performance out of rookie Doug Jamieson too.
Yeah, well, rookie Doug Jamieson, he comes with a lot of pedigree to this team. He played for the Six Nations Chiefs in Junior A last summer. One of the toughest teams or best teams in Canada over the last few years. So he will eventually be a star in this league.
Absolutely.
So it's a pretty good backup to have. Drafted, I believe it was 19th overall, and they were surprised that it took that long for him to go in the draft, and I'd say only because there was a few quality goalies. As soon as one went, they all went.
Oh, it had the run. Two of the best faceoff men in the game going toe-to-toe for the Black Wolves. Jay Thornbert has won 58.2% of his faceoffs this year, up against Bradley Cree, 61.5% of his draws won. So we have the Black Wolves in their white, orange, and black uniforms, and the Toronto Rock in their special Star Wars uniforms. You get a good look at it right there. Those will be auctioned off for charity following the game. And they get down. Here we go. And it's scooped back underneath by Thornbert. And the Black Wolves will start this game. Black Wolves real inconsistent. The go-to now with Sean Evans is obviously Kevin Crowley, who has 5 hat tricks this season. There's Veltman. Center step, sidearm whip. Whoa! And Rose did not see all of it, but got enough.
And Daryl Veltman's a recent pickup.
Yep.
Just coming from the Buffalo Bandits.
Expect a lot out of him as well.
Of course, his uncle, Jimmy Veltman, is the assistant coach. Longtime Rock superstar, Hall of Famer.
One of the all-timers. Helped really develop the lacrosse game internationally with the Czech Republic as well. Rock making a move. Littner gets rid of it to the right side. 4 to shoot. There's Stefan LeBlanc. The lefty puts his shoulder down. Out dances everybody. And a stop by Kirk.
Just your typical Steph LeBlanc power move, going hard to the net along the crease.
That was a gorgeous swim move. But we're still at 0. 1 minute has gone by. Bucktooth kicked back to the point. There's Buchanan. Buchanan to the weak side. Trying to settle late. Off the post. And Nick Rose reached back.
Well, that looked like it was going to go off the post, off his back and in.
Yeah. Damon Edwards needs 1 point to reach 50 in his career as a member of the Toronto Rock. There's Schreiber. Phil Caputo's been a nice surprise. We spoke with Blaine Manning before the game, and he said, yeah, he's been something to look forward to. Swing and a miss by LeBlanc.
Phil Caputo played for New England last year, only got 1 game in.
And it was over the top of his stick, over and back. Now a Rock player is down. That looks like Dan Littner.
Dan Littner, and New England's getting a penalty, so Rock will be going to the power play.
Slow to get up. Hopefully just the wind knocked out of him there.
That's a rookie, Joel Coyle, out of Orangeville.
Defender, so we'll see what the call is in a moment as we get another look. So let's see, 41 on your screen. Let's see what happened to Littner. Oh. That didn't look that hard. Maybe a rib shot? Huh. And Littner is still down. That was odd, Shane. It looked like it didn't look that hard, but we were partially blocked, but it looked like maybe something to the ribs.
Yeah, he looks like he's in a lot of pain right now.
But it was after contact, so I think we can safely rule out any knee or ankle situation there. Now he's getting up, see what he does. Yeah, kind of bent over. So hopefully just the wind knocked out of him there.
Well, and the one thing that went well for Toronto last week, according to their coaches, was the power play. In fact, Blaine Manning said if it wasn't for the power play, they weren't really in that game.
No, and overall in the season, the two worst power play teams in the NLL. Now they'll start it up here. Rocker last, 8th, and going right on. And they continue that success. And it comes from Brett Hickey, who scores his team-leading 18th.
And Hickey, one of the best outside shots on the Toronto Rock. And, anytime he gets it around there, especially the quick shot, it's very difficult for a goaltender to stop.
Didn't waste any time with the man advantage. And Coach Glenn Clark of the Black Wolves said he's actually thinks technically Kirk is better than last year when he was the NLL goaltender of the year, but he's not getting any help, too many open looks, not clearing bodies away. And, of course, being a man short doesn't help. Bradley Cree with a nice spin move to pick up that face-off. Challen Rogers, he had a nice evening, couple of goals against the Bandits in the loss a week ago.
Yeah, Glenn Clark, and he's not the first person to say this, he thinks they're not playing that much worse this year. They're just not getting the one-goal victories.
Yeah. Schreiber dives in. Shot was high and wide. And 4 overtime games for the Black Wolves this year. They've lost a couple of them. So, in that case, you're a couple bounces away, perhaps. That's going to be an over and back. Picked up by Reed Reinhold, who's in the game. And
looked like Reed Reinhold just forgot about that rule. He just ran right over the line.
In place of Turner Evans. Black Wolves put that shoulder down. Oh, Lowe clears everybody away. Wow. And that is how dynamic and dangerous Kevin Crowley could be. Shin, he just ran through like nobody was there.
Yeah, and that's one thing that only a guy like Kevin Crowley can do. With his strength and size, he just put the shoulder down, recognized it was a one-on-one. And that's Brody Merrill he's beating. That's pretty impressive. He made Brody Merrill look like a young rookie on that play.
6'4", 200 pounds for Kevin Crowley. 24th goal of the season. 8th in the NLL in total points. That's number 48. So we're tied at 1. 3 shots apiece. And this will be an interesting battle to watch all night, these two great face-off men. Toronto will get the ball there. Sheldon Burns in on the assist for the Black Wolves. Buchanan the other one. Stefan LeBlanc, high toss, and it is out of the reach of Kieran McCardle. They seem to get away from him, but corralled it in anyway. High bouncer shot. That will go out of play. A couple rows up. New England ball. And Brett Bucktooth brings it up the floor. He'll head off, and now here's Veltman. Outside shot. 3-quarter delivery. Nicely done, but Rose saw enough. Long looping outlet pass. Caught him in stride. Damon Edwards. Shot. Saved by Kirk. Great toe save by Evan Kirk. And now we're getting to a little bit of a track meet. Riley O'Connor, one of the players to watch. Second year in the league. There's O'Connor, was a stud in junior. The Whitby Warriors. Wow! And you saw right there. There's the pedigree. Planted that foot. Reared back. And it's 2-1 New England.
Well, you said it. A nice shot by Riley O'Connor. His 8th goal of the season.
Quieting this crowd at the ACC. Have a look.
And he just steps into it. Lots of power. Bounces it. Yeah, last year he played as a rookie for Calgary Roughnecks. We haven't seen the best from him yet. This guy's got a lot of upside. And he may get more chances to play now with, with Sean Evans out. And
yeah. This is
these guys have to rely on putting some new young faces in the lineup.
Exactly. When a veteran's out, as we have a loose ball scramble here, kicks it back, this is their time. This is what you get a chance to prove it. And with how tight the competition is in the league, you don't get too many chances. Kyle Buchanan dropped it. Now there's Veltman on the right wing. Try to catch it straight. Nice defense there by Gamble.
And Toronto Rock's getting a penalty here.
Huh.
I'm not sure what the call is. Jesse Gamble's going.
Yeah. He broke up that scoring chance, and referee didn't like something out of it.
I didn't see anything wrong with that play unless there was a hold.
Toronto minor penalty, number 4, 2 minutes holding.
There you go. So Jesse Campbell, 2 minutes or less, 4 shots apiece. Now for the New England Black Wolves, they have 13 power play goals on the season, 8th in the NLL. Black Wolves looking pretty good early on here. O'Connor playing catch. And O'Connor trying to use that speed behind the back pass. A little too cute. Lost it for a moment, but they picked it back up. That's Chad Culp. He's off the IR. Overhand hurl, turned aside by Rose. And loose ball scramble here. Challen Rogers tried to go after it. But New England gets a fresh 30. And now you just see cycling around the arc, now making their move. 17 to shoot. Back to Veltman at the point, trying to create that screen behind the net, and a Superman dive. And that is a crease violation anyway. Sneaking in behind.
Was that Kyle Buchanan?
I was trying to see the number there.
I saw last week in the game against Colorado, he scored a few goals like that. So that's one of their plays and their repertoires. Get it to him behind the net, and he's pretty capable coming out either side. A lot of players have their good side they like to go to. He can go to either side.
See Dan Littner back on the floor so that whatever injury isn't affecting him too much, as Brett Hickey has the lone Toronto goal so far. 2-1 for the visitors, and they'll drop it as they look to eat up that penalty to Jesse Gamble. Still 45 seconds remaining in that. We will step aside for our first break of the night. 2-1 Black Wolves up on the Rock. You're watching the National.
Brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada.
He's got Digby on the take, scores!
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot, hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Welcome back to the ACC in Toronto. The Rock trailing the New England Black Wolves 2-1. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan with you. Give us a follow on Twitter at NLL. Myself at AndyMC81. Shanny at SBD Shanny. Use the hashtag NE versus to get in on the conversation. Let us know your thoughts on the action tonight as the Black Wolves try to stay in the East Division race, and Toronto tries to make some distance between themselves and the rest of the pack for second in the division. Missed pass to Veltman. Still 30 seconds on the power play for the Black Wolves. Holding call to Jesse Gamble. Making a swim move in, and nice stop there by Nick Rose. Veltman picks up the rebound, though. And they have a fresh 30. 18 to kill for Toronto. O'Connor trying to pick up some of that slack from the missing Sean Evans with an ankle injury. We'll have an MRI early in the week and will be available as soon as next Saturday, depending how that goes. Jeff Gilbert and Sandy Chapman in on the far corner. A little scrum. Whoa. And Culp punished in that near corner. The Rock kill it off, so we are back at even strength. 8:45 left in the first quarter. Black Wolves doubling up the Rock in the shot category, 8-4. Here's Tom Schreiber. Hopping pass there by Kieran McCardle. The American Experiment trying to connect again and Stefan LeBlanc denied. He has the Lone Rock goal tonight. Oh, no, sorry, that's Brett Hickey. LeBlanc was denied on a beautiful move earlier in the game. Yeah, Brett Bucktooth on the floor. There's Buchanan trying to spin. Rock defense. Brody Merrill with the push. And Oakes, the 8th overall pick from this past draft, pushed aside. There's O'Connor. A little bit of space. Rose saw that right into his belly.
O'Connor shooting from the same spot he scored from, but Rose gave him no room at all there.
Hostrauser on the fast break from Edwards. Pulls it back too high, and that's the third high pass we've seen tonight, Shanny.
Well, luckily for the Toronto Rock, they were able to recover from that one.
Little sloppy in the passing there. There's Schreiber. Hickey, little stutter step. Forward to shoot. Reed Reinhold, right on. Rebound, though, so they will get a new 30-second shot clock. That's part of the problem the Black Wolves have had. No defenders there to help clear out those rebounds. Snapped pass. Finds Littner.
Somebody's missing a stick. Oh, he got it back.
Reinhold delivers. Oh, and Littner went 5-hole. Kirk was up to it, but that was a pinpoint accurate pass to Littner. He just got rid of it quick. There's Suttons in full stride. Suttons high pass or a high shot and behind the net. Have a little bit of a track meet here.
Probably not the best decision to take that shot by Suttons. He was on the run, never got any weight behind that shot.
Sometimes defenders tend to get a little excited when they have
I've been space. There, yes.
Pass intended for Schreiber was hacked down, though, now in the neutral zone.
Yeah, nice little interception.
And now in the transition, there's Bucktooth.
And that was Bucktooth who's caused that turnover. Formerly an offensive player in this league, has turned into a defender, pretty good defender, too.
Merrill trying to keep it out in behind. That was a gorgeous behind-the-back pass for Kyle Buchanan. Damon Edwards, one of the speedier players in the league, will get rid of it. Jordan Magnuson here. He drops it for Hickey. Hickey getting hacked on the near boards. Trying to wind his way back out. Finds Schreiber, went for the one touch. And that's where Casey Bierns, who they're missing right now, Shanny, is. That's where he makes his living.
No, absolutely. But there was some good defense by New England. They got a deflection on that pass. Otherwise, that might have made it through to the target.
Hey, Brett Manny. New England offense setting up now. 5:44 to go in the first quarter. 2-1 Black Wolves. O'Connor kicks it back to the neutral zone. Sidearm, that got redirected. That was Buchanan. And a shot clock violation, so the Rock coming back the other way. Black Wolves has done a nice job getting back on transition. One of the Rock's strengths here. There's Challen Rogers. Clicks with Schreiber. Schreiber leads the Rock in points. Shots now even at 8. There's Schreiber. Trying to penetrate. Has some room. Scores! Captain America delivers! And we're tied at 2.
This guy's got all the tools, and he shows us another great move here. Steps up, but watch this footwork. And he just steps around Zach Reed. Makes it look so easy. There's no way you're going to reach with your stick to stop Tom Schreiber when he's going hard like that.
Shanny, that looks like a lot of core strength there because he was off his back foot, and you just see some torque that midsection and get enough power behind it.
It looked like that first step put him around Zach Reed, and there was no recovery.
So tied at 2, and what a story Tom Schreiber has been. I wrote a 2-part story on NLL.com called The American Experiment. Check it out. I have some audio interviews on there as well from Brody Merrill, Matt Sawyer. Kieran McCardle's in there as well. Stefan LeBlanc ran to a wall. Bounced off like a pinball, though. Able to draw the defense out. McCardle's pass got knocked down, but the Rock will recover. There's Schreiber. Pass to McCardle. That was an underhand scoop. And as much as we praise Schreiber, Kieran McCardle has one of the nastiest, quickest shots, Shanny, that we've seen in a while.
Yeah, he does have an excellent shot. Sometimes when it goes wide, though, you don't know where that's coming. It comes off so powerfully. It causes sometimes a turnover going the other way.
When I was chatting with him, he said that's one of the things he has to get used to from the field game, right? Because if you miss in field, well.
You miss in field, you usually get the ball back, right?
But here, bounces off the board. So we'll take a break. Tied at 2, 4:31 to go in the first. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
He's got Digby on the take, scores!
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot. Hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Back at the Air Canada Centre, tied at 2 between the Toronto Rock and the New England Black Wolves. Action blown back in, under 4:30 left to go. Important game for both these teams in an East Division battle. And Veltman was pinned, ran out of real estate there, but gets around Billy Holstrauser. What a second effort by Veltman and a better stop by Rose. Rock storming back the other way, 4-on-2. And Brody Merrill will decide to let the offense do its thing and head off the floor. Rock buzzing out of that stoppage. There's Reed Reinhold, had an assist on Schreiber's goal, as did Kieran McCardle. They travel with one another from Long Island, New York. Schreiber with a rocket looking for a rebound, and he got it. Swatted back, and that is going to go over and back.
It was a nice effort by Steph LeBlanc to knock that ball away from the crowd. He just didn't have a player outside of the pack to pick it up.
Yeah, Coyle, whoa, and Rose looked behind him. Dangerous shot from the outside by the New England Black Wolves. Rose with a snap outlet pass. Schreiber gets rid of it to Hickey. Hickey and Schreiber with the 2 Toronto goals tonight. Rather, that's Littner. And he seemed to overcome that rib or whatever injury it was. There's Kieran McCardle. Broke through. He was harassed and shoved to the ground. Didn't get a quality opportunity. Now it's the Black Wolves coming back the other way. Streaking up. Rock back on transition, though. And the Rock player, Brody Merrill, back to eat up that rebound. In a track meet now, Shanny. Back and forth. Stephen LeBlanc putting his shoulder down. Somebody lost the stick. Yeah, LeBlanc. And it looks like a hold.
A holding call. I didn't see that. I thought it was a good check against LeBlanc, but I'm not sure if the hold was aside from that play.
Going to Joel Coyle.
Coyle's got his second penalty of the game.
Huh. All right, so the last time the Rock were on the power play, they scored. And that's what now, Shanny? 6 for 8 in their last,
6 for 8 in the last
game?
2 games. Oh, yeah, that looks like a hold there.
New England's penalty kill ranked 4th in the NLL. And they have 9 shorthanded goals.
And we'll have to check to see how many came from Sean Evans.
It won't come there as Stephen LeBlanc gets fed and buries it. 3-2 Toronto.
This goal was a mirror image of their earlier power play goal
You're right.
by Hickey this time to the other side of the floor. And you know what they're doing well is the quick releases. They're not giving Evans a lot of time to set up, or Evan Kirk a lot of time to set up. And they've made short order of their power play so far today.
Again, just seconds into both man advantages. 30th assist of the year for Schreiber. And team lead 43 points, and that's by a lot, Shanny. Next was Brett Hickey, who's now at 31. And Toronto feeling more, going right to Evan Kirk. And Toronto going down to a knee there. That's Phil Caputo. Oh, and Evan Kirk looked behind him, got caught up in his equipment. Caputo didn't get a lot of oomph behind the shot, but it was a sneaky one.
Well, considering Caputo started the season as a practice player, every time he's been put in the lineup, he's been scoring 1 or 2 goals.
He's and a big body, too.
I think they're going to have a hard time taking him out of the line because it's not just the goals. They like everything he's doing.
Yes. Screenshot, and it was off the mark. Big rebound. Billy Hostrauser giving chase, rumbling down the floor. Billy's got it. And Calton strikes Sandy Chapman. Chapman! And it was off the mark. Went right over the shoulder of Evan Kirk. Coming back the other way. And Sandy Chapman, his speed, it's so dangerous. Even that's how long he's been in the league.
Nice little play by Ostrauser. He didn't even consider taking that ball to the net. He turned around to see what was coming next. And it was the veteran Sandy Chapman.
And now a little dance step. Whoa, what a goal. New England Black Wolves tie it up at 3. We'll see who that was. I think that's Seth Oakes. Have another look by the rookie here.
Very nice play. And the second time Toronto's been beaten cleanly on a one-on-one play.
And you just see him, and you know what? You saw a little collision there between Cree and Gamble that gave Oakes that extra step. But that was just forcing the will. And Shanny, they're being out-physicaled, which is something we have not said about this Toronto defense all year.
Yeah, Seth Oakes, 5'11", but a solid 190 pounds, and he just beat Jesse Gamble cleanly there.
8th overall pick in this past NLL draft out of St. Catharines, Ontario.
I remember Seth Oakes as a peewee playing out of Akwesasne, and he was probably the same size in peewee as he is now. He was a man at about 12 years old.
Wow. Oh, and that was an absolute rocket.
And very skilled player, Seth Oakes.
Now he's transitioning it to the pro game. Damon Edwards with the outlet pass. He received it. Edwards pushes it to Hickey. Hickey tried to catch Littner in stride, and then he slipped. Last minute of play in the first quarter. All tied up at 3. Black Wolves looking for one more here. There's Searle. Whoa! Searle and O'Connor half collided. Billy Hostrauser all over Searle. O'Connor now. Partial screen. Scoop save by Rose.
And Rose complains that he was checked while he had the ball in the crease. And the referee's not buying it.
He let it slide. 23 seconds to go in the first. Hickey playing catch with LeBlanc. LeBlanc receives.
Rose looked over to the bench to see if he should come. The coaches told him to stay.
8 seconds left. Again to that weak side 2 to shoot. And that was right on to Evan Kirk. Couldn't reach back for the rebound. Luckily for them, Zach Reed was there. And that will bring an end to the first quarter. All tied up at 3. And Shanny, we've seen good and bad on both sides. This is going to be a close matchup. We'll step aside and come back for the second quarter. Tied at 3, Rock and the Black Wolves. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
Teams are now fielded in Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Maryland, Montreal, and Quebec.
Yesterday, there was friendly competition and not so friendly competition. We knew our true colors weren't just worn on our backs, they were painted on our faces and hoisted as high in the air as we could possibly carry them. Whatever it took to claim our turf. Yesterday, we left it all out there. Blood, sweat, tears. You name it, we left it. We kept ourselves focused and we kept each other in check. And the only thing we took were epic shots. Yesterday, we saw more twists and turns in 8 seconds than most people saw in an entire season. We lost the ball, lost our minds. We lost countless times in every game. If you could see the ball, that was a slow day. Yesterday, physics didn't apply to us. Gravity wasn't welcome in our box. Armed with just a stick and a ball, we took flight. Yesterday, we were the best we could be. Today is our day.
Sign up and get all the latest NLL news delivered right to your inbox. Visit NLL.com and sign up for the NLL newsletter now. Welcome back to the Air Canada Centre in downtown Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. We are in the middle of an East Division battle. Toronto Rock sit at 5-3 on the year and second in the East. New England Black Bulls 3-6 in a dogfight for third, fourth, and fifth. We're tied at 3 going into the second quarter. Rock in their special Star Wars uniforms. Charity night, and the Black Wolves in their white, orange, and black unis.
Big face-off win by Bradley Cree against Jay Thornburg.
Interesting first quarter, Shanny. We saw a little bit of a slower pace at times, and then some sloppy passes by the Rock in New England. It's been up and down. LeBlanc went with a bouncer. Went off his back foot. Kieran McCardle with the hops. Nicely done. Went 5-hole as the shot clock was nearing 0, and the Black Wolves come back the other way.
Well, both teams have been playing pretty tight defense.
Yeah.
Neither team has really had a lot of great offensive chances.
2 of the Rock goals, though, as you mentioned, came in from the exact same spot in the power play. And they went for a one-touch. It was wide left.
Crowley didn't miss by much on that shot.
And Crowley is one of the goals, and just willed his way. It's just sometimes when Crowley just decides he's doing it, his 6'4", 200-pound body, you can't stop him.
Well, really, all 3 of New England's goals have been good individual efforts. 2 one-on-one battles, and one was just a really good shot by second-year player Riley O'Connor.
Yep, Seth Oakes was the other one there. McCardle receives, looking for a lane through a screen. Laser fast delivery. But Evan Kirk, the defending NLL goaltender of the year, made the save. There's Bucktooth. Bucktooth puts his shoulder down, pushes back. Overhand and sliding over his Rose. Black Wolves without Sean Evans. Whoa, and Buchanan diving in there.
Really slippery move by Kyle Buchanan.
Had some grease on him.
Turned on a dime and squeezed down low.
A lot of veteran leadership on this team. Stephen LeBlanc. Some of the best footwork. Look at that spin move. Sends it back inside the line. And Hickey's shot redirected, swatted down. That was by Thornburg. And there's Rydell. Rydell over the top, scores! Rydell with the one hopper.
Very nice move, great finish. I would not be surprised if we see a flag.
I was thinking
even
that.
By the hesitation from the referee.
Look at the placement.
The key is he jumped fine, whether he landed before it went in. I think I'm throwing the flag if I'm Coach Glenn Clark.
Yeah.
That's close enough. In fact, I think it looked like he might have hit the ground. He's got a couple seconds because once that face-off ball is dropped,
I don't think he's doing it.
That's too late. No, I don't see any of the coaches making a move.
I'm with you. I think that is certainly worth a second look.
Even I originally thought just from the hesitation by the referee to put up his arms.
Hickey with the helper and LeBlanc. But the placement by Rydell. Littner now. That shot again redirected. You mentioned the effectiveness of both teams' defense, the New England defense, and that's taken in stride. Rose gets his stick on it. Just got by Chapman. The Rock coming back the other way. Brody Merrill, the Rock captain, holds up.
Yeah, we mentioned Caputo being a good surprise for the Toronto Rock. Reed Reinhold has been very good, too. This is just his third game. He's got 4 goals.
Oh, shot right on into the stomach. Long looping outlet pass. Manny hails it in. Crisp pass. Manny will head to the bench. There's Kevin Crowley. Crowley puts that shoulder down. Shoved away this time. 10 to shoot for the Black Wolves. Crowley sent back one for the one-touch development. Was over a stick, though. And a swing dive.
Challen Rogers is doing a great job.
He is.
On Kevin Crowley.
That is a long night. If you have to, if your assignment is Kevin Crowley, that's a long evening.
Yeah, Crowley's 6'4", 200 pounds. I'm surprised he's only 200 pounds. He looks thicker than that.
Yeah. The power of Schreiber came back, though. Bounce off the backboards. The Black Wolves storming down the other way. Sheldon Burns gets pounded into the turf.
Some great strength by Damon Edwards on that play.
Under 11 minutes left in the first half. Rock lead at 4-3. Buchanan drops it to nobody. It's an over and back.
Well, we saw what he was thinking. Just didn't execute. Now you have to wonder if Sean Evans is there, or if that's where he expects Sean Evans to
be. Yep.
They're getting used to playing, missing a big cog in their wheel.
Sure. Still not sure how long he'll be out. MRI earlier in the week will decide. Here McCardle's pass intercepted by the Black Wolves. Crowley spins away, getting hacked to bits by McCardle.
Crowley showing some skills on defense.
Yeah, Crowley going coast to coast. Wow. The power of Kevin Crowley.
Well, he definitely had a mismatch there. Kieran McCardle playing defense on Kevin Crowley, so he took it to the net.
There's Jesse Gamble. Sends it back to the point. Reinhold pulls that ball back. And Bouncer scores! Reed Reinhold with his second of the night and third point.
I tell you, for a guy just playing his third game for the Toronto Rock this year, he shows so much offensive composure here. Puts on the brakes, drives to the net, nice bounce shot. It's got to be really difficult. You know, it's great when the coaches have a hard time taking guys out of the lineup.
Yeah, oh yeah. The 5'11" lefty. And off the draw will be awarded to the Black Wolves. 5 minutes have expired in the second quarter. Black Wolves now trail by 2. There's Oakes, who scored a beautiful goal earlier in the game, just powering his way through. Trying to do that again. Create some space. Kick saved by Rose. Oakes plays a lot bigger than his 5'11", 190. Very thick.
They're very strong.
And there's the Rock, Stephen LeBlanc. What a stop by Kirk. And the Black Wolves storming back the other way. Burns will hold up as Toronto got back on the floor quickly. Burns with a little drop. That was for Oakes. He had an open look there. Took his eye off the ball for a moment. Now a fast break for the Rock. A 2-on-1. Shot and save, and that nearly went right to Jesse Gamble. Nearly went to Gamble. Bradley Cree. An excellent opportunity. Ball squirts by Gamble. There's Bucktooth.
New England's had a few sloppy turnovers that's turning into some transition opportunities for the Toronto Rock.
And Edwards was hit. And hold on now.
I think New England's getting the original penalty, I believe, on that play. That was more than an illegal pick.
Yeah.
I think they were calling an elbow.
Because Edwards went down. And we'll sort all this out as we take a break. 8:53 left in the half. 5-3 Toronto leads New England. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada.
Don't miss your chance to see all the action live this season on NLLTV.com. Sign up for the NLL Pass to watch all the games or your favorite team. Plus, you get exclusive content, highlights, interviews, and more. Back to the ACC here in Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. The Rock lead 5-3 on the New England Black Wolves. You can give us a follow on Twitter at NLL, at AndyMC81, at SBDShanny. Use the hashtag NE versus Tor to get in on this game's conversation. Lots of action around the NLL this weekend, Shanny. Of Rochester and Buffalo underway now at 9:30 Eastern. Calgary and Colorado, which will be a fascinating matchup.
And Buffalo is beating Rochester 6-4 at halftime.
Vital. But if one of these two teams sweep, it could be over for the other. Both with 3 wins in the East Division. That's where the Black Wolves are as well. The Rock pressing on their power play. They've scored with about 10 or 12 seconds into each of those earlier tonight. Those goals coming from Hickey and LeBlanc with the man advantage. LeBlanc with some space. Right on. What a save by Kirk. And they go for a shorthanded opportunity. Manny grabbed it. He'll take off the bench. Oh, and that was nearly a shorthanded goal. And the ball bounces about 3 rows up here on the near side in the Platinum seats.
And you mentioned the shorthanded goals by New England. Sean Evans actually only has 1 of them.
Huh.
Chad Culp has a couple. Kevin Buchanan. Riley O'Connor's got 2 of them. And Jay Thornbert, their face-off man's got 1.
So they're dangerous when they're down. Rock have scored 2 on the power play, though, and have a minute left to play with. There's the Blanc pass, and it was right on the goal line there. But Kirk slid his way over.
Evan Kirk just read that play. He was at the right spot as that pass was going there.
Shots 21-17 in favor of the home team. Buchanan directing traffic. Hope to eat up as much time as possible here. 9 on the shot clock. There's Crowley being shoved around by Billy Holstrauser, and there is their 10th shorthanded goal of the season. A play that Crowley started and just got by Rose.
Yeah, this time it's Kevin Buchanan. He's always had a powerful outside shot. And, great release from not a great angle, but the second that was in his stick, he was releasing it on the net.
And that's one of the more exciting parts for new fans to the NLL, Shanny, is the fact that players can shoot from anywhere. That it was a 3-quarter down delivery, almost underhanded, but it just gets under the goaltender's view for a second and got by.
Yeah, it's all about getting the goaltender out of position and making the quick pass.
Oh, might have one here, and Rose stoned him cold. Sheldon Burns denied.
Huge save by Nick Rose. 2 shorthanded goals would have been a big momentum change for the New England Black Wolves.
10 seconds left on the power play, and Hickey was denied by Kirk. Wow, behind the back outlet pass by the goaltender of the year. Not bad. 5-4 the score. And the Black Wolves not only kill off the penalty, but get one shorthanded. Black Wolves feeling it now. Crowley strafing his way in on the left wing. 4 seconds to shoot. Crowley, woo, and that nearly beat Rose just by pure power. He saw it all the way. Chapman with the swat. Nicely done by the veteran defender.
Thrown back in the crease. It was a nice scoop play by Chapman. The only problem was Holstrauser was standing in the crease when he caught the ball.
And that means possession goes back to New England. Veltman trying to create a lane for Culp. Culp over the top and a shoulder save by Rose. There's the captain, Brody Merrill. In the neutral zone, he'll wait for reinforcements. He's not seeing him. Finally gets rid of it to Reed Reinhold. What a game Reinhold had. A couple goals and an assist. Manny catches the outlet pass in stride. Rock's transition so good, though. Taking away any odd man rush. Crowley from the point. Dishes to the right wing. And scores! And that's going to Kevin Buchanan, his second of the quarter. Shorthanded one first, and we are tied at 5.
And watch this footwork by Kevin Buchanan. He just stepped around the Rock defender. I think that was Bradley Cree.
Cree tried to get back. He had that stop, Shannon, that made Cree keep going, and then he couldn't get back in time.
Just a little stutter step just created a lot of space between him and the defender, and we already saw how good Kevin Buchanan's shot is.
Yeah. Jordan Magnuson taking the face-off against Thornbert here. And he'll go to the Rock. This is a huge matchup for the Rock here, Shannon, because if they win, they go to 6-3, put so much space between the Bandits, Black Wolves, and Rochester, no matter who wins out of Rochester and Buffalo there. They lose, though, 5-4, and they're right in the pack. Ball knocked away from McCardle. Getting double-teamed. That's Caputo. And Caputo has that big 6'3" body. Loose ball. And Evan Kirk saw it just in time. That's the benefit of a Caputo at that size frame for the forward position. Can just kind of bulldoze his way down. $11 to shoot for New England here. 5 minutes left in the half. Back to Culp. Culp in the neutral zone. Whips it to Crowley. Crowley with a sidearm bouncer. Big rebound for Buchanan. Couldn't quite corral it in, though.
And New England's been doing a pretty good job of late getting those second chances off the rebounds and getting that loose ball.
Something the Rock have been real good at this season, but not tonight. There's Crowley shoving away Gilbert. Knocked him off the shot, and that would have been a wide open look by Buchanan. Instead, it was an over and back. All the defense was drawn to the right side, and Buchanan was all alone. Went over and back. It'll be Rock ball when we return. We're all tied at 5, folks. 4:30 to go in the second quarter. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV. Back to the Air Canada Center. 4:30 left in the second quarter. 5-5 is the score. Rock and the Black Wolves. Toronto with possession here. Stephen LeBlanc, the point man. He receives. Crisp pass to the left wing. Schreiber spinning, pulling back, waits, went for a sidearm bouncer, and that went right up to the Reds here. 18 rows up at the ACC.
And that went off Evan Kirk, so Toronto gets the ball back.
That'll be Reed Reinhold, who's having a great game in place of Turner Evans, like his cousin, is out with an injured ankle. And that ball's redirected, rattled off the glass. Black Wolves come away with it, though. There's Burns. Burns on the left side, 2-on-1. Toronto's defense gets back on the floor. Burns will take his time and wait for the offense to come in. There's Oaks. He has a goal tonight. 8th overall pick. Almost had his second. Big rebound, and goes to the Rock. Drop for Brody Merrill. Merrill in stride. Evan Kirk, what a save. Wow. On Brett Hickey.
Well, Brody Merrill is still one of the best players in the NLL, if not the best at scooping up ground balls. And he turned that into a 3-on-2, and if not for Evan Kirk, that would have been a goal.
Oh. Evan Kirk's stat line might not look the best, but he's showing right now why he's the defending NLL goaltender of the year. Nick Rose going to the bench, extra attacker on, penalty coming to the Black Wolves. And we'll see what it is. Evan Kirk is not happy about it. Let's see who's going over.
I think that's Jay Thornburg.
Yeah, face-off specialist.
New England minor penalty. 75. 2 minutes. Holding the stick.
Holding the stick.
Well, Toronto's power play looked good on their first 2 power plays. 2 quick goals. The last one, they allowed a short-handed goal.
They did. That was to Kevin Buchanan. One of his 2 tonight. Rock have also scored twice with the man advantage. Reinhold, look, he had a chance there. Hesitated. To the point for Schreiber. Behind the back pass and a beauty. Kirk, a big juicy rebound. Gorgeous pass by Schreiber. And Manny coming back the other way. And a 1-toss. Jeff Gilbert with the loose ball pickup. And the Rock, his power play the last 2 games, has come around after being so sluggish earlier in the year.
And we haven't seen Schreiber shoot on the power play yet. I think he's got to let them know that that's an option he's willing to take.
Reinhold back to Schreiber. Dishes it quickly. Another behind-the-back pass. Oh, and it went right through the hands of Reinhold. Gobbled it up off the glass, though. Schreiber, there's that shot from the point. And Kirk saw it. Nice skipper, though.
Well, you know when goaltenders are in a groove, they seem to know where the next pass is going.
Right.
And that's another time that Evan Kirk has done that.
50 seconds left to kill for the Black Wolves here. You have the big daddy Kevin Crowley on the floor. Crowley, he was calling for it. Crowley was just drawing everybody in. Now Buchanan on the move. Watch him. He's going to the right side. Crowley, and that's Buchanan. Went all the way around. It was looking to tiptoe along that crease, but it was knocked away.
Yeah, Toronto's doing a really good job on Kevin Crowley there. You got to be careful not to let him draw a penalty.
15 seconds remaining on the power play. Schreiber and LeBlanc playing catch. Clicks with LeBlanc. Schreiber makes his move now. Back to the point, switching positions, and Hickey picked up his own rebound as it ricocheted off the backboards. Hickey again, and off the post! LeBlanc scooped it up, though. Back to even strength, man.
Look up the floor. Thornburg came out of the box and just stayed at center floor.
Looking for a turnover. Last minute of play in the half. Some spectacular goaltending by Evan Kirk. This could easily be 8-5.
He's really got better as the game has gone on.
Yeah, he really has. 11 on the shot clock for New England. Ball knocked away by Harris.
Yeah, that was some great defense by young Latrell Harris.
Only 18 years old. Had some great flashes. Last time we were here against Georgia, scored that goal with less than a minute to play, and then the Swarm tied it up and ended up winning it in overtime. Kieran McCardle receives. He's on the right wing waiting around here. 16 seconds. 5 to shoot on the clock, though. McCardle can deliver from just about anywhere. One-handed little dribbler. No!
Oh, that would have been a nice goal, but McCardle was in the crease.
Oh, in the crease. He was down and just kind of shoved it, Shanny. And it, very strange.
Now watch. The only thing wrong with this is that McCardle is over the crease when that ball went in.
And he was down. Look, he was swimming almost on the green turf. 9.4 seconds left. Rock out shooting the Black Wolves 32-24. Timeout was called on Star Wars night. The Rock's jerseys will be auctioned off for charity.
Evan Kirk will stay on the bench here so that New England will set up a 6-on-5 play.
As it's all tied up right now. Toronto, when tied at the half this season, is 0-1. We'll give you at the half an out-of-town scoreboard update between Rochester and Buffalo. They're first of all home and home. was a 7 o'clock start tonight. Then they turn around, go to Rochester for a 1 o'clock game tomorrow. I know the distance isn't far, but still, Shanny, how intense those games are. Man.
There will have to be some turnover in the lineups between those two teams.
I think
because there'll be a few sore bodies.
I think you're right. All right, 9.4 seconds left. Black Wolves with possession coming out of the timeout. Extra attacker on the floor. Evan Kirk sits on the bench. 5 seconds left. Some room for Buchanan. Went for his sidearm shot, far side, and a double whack at the end on Kevin Buchanan. Brings a finish to the first half. And after 2 quarters, Shannon, we've solved nothing. We're all tied at 5.
Just starting all over again the second half.
Low scoring. Now, we were talking about how much better Toronto has played this year when they're able to keep the score low. That seems to be really their wheelhouse for the opposition, where they're not pushed to have to get into really a back and forth.
No, you're absolutely right. That has been their style of game. Try to hold a team to 10 goals. More than likely, you're going to score enough goals to win most games.
So with that, we will step aside and come back in about 10 or so minutes for the third quarter. Rock versus the Black Wolves. This is a great one. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
Pro lacrosse teams are now fielded in Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Maryland, Montreal, and Quebec.
Yesterday, there was friendly competition and not so friendly competition. We knew our true colors weren't just worn on our backs, they were painted on our faces and hoisted as high in the air as we could possibly carry them. Whatever it took to claim our turf. Yesterday, we left it all out there. Blood, sweat, tears, you name it, we left it. We kept ourselves focused and we kept each other in check, and the only thing we took were epic shots. Yesterday we saw more twists and turns in 8 seconds than most people saw in an entire season. We lost the ball, lost our minds, we lost countless times in every game. If you could see the ball, that was a slow day. Yesterday physics didn't apply to us. Gravity wasn't welcome in our box. Armed with just a stick and a ball, we took flight. Yesterday, we were the best we could be. Today is our day.
Have one, hey, Rosie? Come on, boys.
Commit to togetherness. Commit to team. Let's get off to a great start here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Run.
Nice seal, Hosser. Yeah, baby.
Right.
Nice find, bro.
Yeah, automatic.
Nice seal, Hosser. Hey, Hick, you just shoot it, eh, buddy?
The National Lacrosse League logo honors its over 30 years of history, but also pushes towards a new era, a new day. An updated colorway of black and silver illuminates the way forward, with technology and innovation as our mandate. The Shield captures the warrior spirit of the physical battle of sport while being modern enough to appeal to new audiences. The goal. By extruding the shape of the shield, the container is one that is a nod to the ubiquitous shape of a lacrosse goal. The original four. 4 arrows representing the founding of our league with 4 professional box lacrosse teams. Washington, D.C., Baltimore, New Jersey, Philadelphia converge to create the NLL star, a modern interpretation of a star that combines both the arrows of the original 4 teams and a Native American morning star. The 4 arrows converge to create the heart of the star representing the current teams and the fans who are the beacon of the future of the National Lacrosse League. This is the National Lacrosse League. Today is our day.
For the fans to kind of yell my name and stuff, so that doesn't get lost on the players, kind of what he does for us.
Bruce is just one of the most kind and loving and giving people you could possibly meet.
Bruce is a ball of energy. When he comes down the hall and into the ACC, you know he's there. I mean, he just has this commanding presence and an insane smile that literally warms up the room. It sounds cliche, but he just makes people happy to be around him. And the fact that he loves the team and the game so much, it's pretty inspiring.
Friends and family of Bruce Barker describe him as energetic, kind, and a true fan of the National Lacrosse League. Bruce has called over 250 national lacrosse games, even receiving a letter from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau this year congratulating him on this feat. Those who know Bruce know that there's nothing that makes him happier than getting fans excited up in the booth.
I've often said he would bag groceries to make a living if he was interacting with people. But don't take the Brock away from him. Don't take the National Lacrosse League away from him, because that's what he loves to do.
Bruce brings his big smile and big laugh to every Toronto Rock home game.
Just seeing him around, and he's always got that positive spirit, positive energy, and you know, it's a little bit like you know, just that familiarity, and that you know, it's a little bit comforting, even though hearing his voice.
But as the Toronto Rock open up their season this year, one big smile was missing. A few weeks ago, Bruce suffered a stroke and was devastated that he would miss the beginning of the season.
He was really, really sad when he knew he couldn't do the season opener. But we talked to Mike Hancock and we said, you know, we're going to really work on being back. And Mike said, well, we're just keeping your chair warm for you. And you do the work, and it's waiting here for you, and your fans are waiting here, and all the guys love you, and we've gotten a huge amount of support.
Now Bruce is on the road to recovery, using Toronto Rock scripts to work on his speech.
Make some noise for the boys.
And while there's a long road ahead of him, knowing that he has the entire Toronto Rock team behind him and supporting him makes each step a little easier.
Hopefully he'll be back soon, but yeah, I mean, we will miss his energy that he brings. You know, he's been with us now for a while here.
We hope that he's back as soon as possible, and the guys will you know, again, be thinking of him, be thinking positive thoughts.
The support has been so incredible, friends even started a GoFundMe to help raise money for Bruce's medical bills.
I've often said that Bruce is one of the kindest men I've ever known, and he's very humble, and I don't know if he believed that. And we are so thankful, and the generosity has meant everything to us. But what I've seen it do for Bruce is I've seen him now really be able to calm himself and now just focus on recovery.
Bruce is determined to be back cheering on his team, his family, this season. On behalf of the entire National Lacrosse League, we are wishing you a speedy recovery. For NLL Productions, I'm Mia Gordon.
Got Digby on the take, scores!
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot, hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
He's got
Time now for my box bosses, and these picks were actually pretty easy for me this week. I think there was 3 players that really stepped up and were very big parts of their team's wins. So let's start off at number 3 with Mark Matthews of the Saskatchewan Rush. Matthews is currently 3rd in league scoring. He's always a threat on offense. Known for his swim move, he can gain the middle of the floor and make the other team pay. But what he's really impressed me with this season has been his ability to feed the ball. He's got great lacrosse IQ and always gets the ball to his teammates at the right time. He's a big part of that offensive unit. At number 2, Rochester Knighthawks, Josh Courier, the rookie, 3 goals, 1 assist this past weekend in his team's win over the Vancouver Stealth. Courier is a rookie that's leading the way for the Knighthawks, currently tied for the team league in points. He's got 15 goals and 15 assists for 30 points on the season now. The Knighthawks' future, let me tell you, is bright with this guy on offense. He was a big part of that win in Week 9. And at number 1, I've got Mitch Jones of the Buffalo Bandits, 4 goals, 1 assist against the Toronto Rock. He's my number 1 box boss of the week. I've really liked the way that this guy's been playing all season long. He didn't really disappoint this past weekend against the Rock. He's got the Bandits on the board first with an amazing goal that he scored while lying face down. Spoiler alert, it's going to be in versus. I think the Bandits want to be successful. They have to continue to see strong play from a guy like Mitch Jones. Just a great effort.
Let's go, boys. Wolves on 3. 1, 2, 3, go!
All day, baby. That's all day. That's all day.
Great, Bill. Good crush.
Yep, you're low.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of the NLL Social Circle, where we take a look at some of the big stories happening across the league on social media this week. And we actually start off this episode with some big news coming from the NLL this week. That is right, the league announced on social media that season ticket memberships for 2017 have grown by double digits this year. And fans were responding to this. Wes Dorkson says that he and his wife don't agree on much when it comes to sports, but they both love the NLL. Yeehaw! It's not just a party in Calgary this week, it is actually a Western party. That is right, Calgary's very own Cole Bradley will be performing at this week's game, and fans seem to be pretty pumped up about this. So make sure you got your boots on because I'm sure there'll be plenty of dancing. Take a look at this adorable video. Chris Corbiel, Aaron Bolt, and of course Bruiser the Bulldog visited some kids at Children's Hospital of Saskatchewan this week. And sticking with the Rush, well, there was some horseplaying going on this week. Take a look at this picture posted by fan Cody Stranger. Even Grandma Rush getting involved. A big achievement unlocked in Vancouver this week. That's right, Ian Hawksby earned his 1,000th career loose ball. Congratulations. And the competition is really heating up in Colorado between two teammates, actually. Fans have had all week to choose if they're going to be Team Noble or Team Geich. Take a look at these videos that the players posted.
I'm with Ilya. I'm with Ilya. No. This is Team Noble territory. I just love Colorado. Such a nice city, beautiful weather, beautiful people. I just don't get it. Anyways, you can go skiing, you can go snowboarding, you can go hiking.
Say no to Team Noble!
What's wrong with these people? Anyways, it's just such a lovely place and great people.
Fans will actually get a t-shirt of whichever team they chose to be on at this week's Mammoth game. Can't wait to see who comes out on top of this competition. Fans, that wraps up this week's episode of the NLL Social Circle. If you want a chance to be featured here, well, all you gotta do is make sure you are tagging the NLL in all of your social media posts. For NLL Productions, I'm Mia Gordon.
And get more of a stranglehold on second spot in the East for the Black Wolves. They're trying to stay in the hunt with the Rochester Nighthawks and the Buffalo Bandits, each with 3 wins apiece. And scores! Black Wolves sidearm Chuck. And Veltman gives the Black Wolves another lead, 6-5.
Daryl Veltman getting his second goal since coming to the Black Wolves and just given way too much room. Slips into the slot area before the Rock recovers, and it's too late by the time he gets that ball and takes a one-timer into the net.
Well, Jordan Magnuson was there, Shanny, and Brody Merrill had to come over for extra help. He just didn't take the body.
There's been a number of goals. That's 4 goals now that I've seen from New England where the Toronto defenders just were not on their game, either beat one-on-one or just poor coverage on that play.
You're right. Either beat, outmuscle, whatever. That goal 59 seconds into the third quarter, so New England retakes the lead, and Evan Kirk has been an absolute stone wall for the last quarter and a half for the Black Wolves.
And New England is on a 3-goal run right now.
Your Brett Hickey dishes. He'll set up in the low post. Reed Reinhold has a couple goals tonight. Open look, but it was too high for LeBlanc, so couldn't get the shot away clean. Rattle off the glass, and a nice pushback there. That was by Phil Caputo.
Whoa.
Oh, boy, and another one. Oh. Wow.
I'm pretty sure that shot went off the crossbar. Well, Evan Kirk ran into the corner to make a hit. You don't see that too often.
And hold on now.
We got to fight Caputo.
Phil Caputo. Caputo and Sheldon Burns.
Sheldon Burns or Thornburg?
Whoa! Caputo takes a hit. I thought it was Burns, and Caputo got tossed down. A couple of big boys there. Burns 6'1", 185, if that indeed was who it was. And Phil Caputo, we talk about that size, adding some grit, right?
Yep. And a short fight, but a good one. We saw a couple of good punches from both players. I think Sheldon Burns probably got the best one in.
Toronto both have 5 minutes each fighting.
And is that the first fight of the year that we've had here at the ACC, Shanny? I'm thinking. I think it might have been.
It seems odd to believe it if it is, but I can't think of one offhand.
Yeah. And with how closely matched these two teams have been tonight. And we see how it starts.
Yeah.
There you go. And Caputo and Burns got right into it. So 5 minutes each for fighting. Littner reared back, but the ball got redirected on the way. Big rebound, though, and Black Wolves got a hold of it. New England chugging up the floor. Zach Reed will just wait. New England looking to build on that 1-goal lead now. There's Culp off the IR. Didn't get a lot behind that. Went way wide. Hostrauser swung and missed and tackled. The physicality's turned up tonight. There's Culp again. The 2 Toronto defenders were down. Another awkward delivery by Culp. Shot clock hit 0. And Creed didn't see Creed did not see Derek Sutton's on him. Looked up like, oh, I got to get out of here. And the Rock looking a little sluggish coming out of the half. There's Schreiber. Schreiber, the velocity behind that shot. But Evan Kirk continues to be dominant. There's Coyle. Shots 35-25 for the home team. And the Black Wolves pressing. Bang goes to Oakes. Off the shoulder and crossbar. Stop. Keeps it 6-5, and the Rock coming back the other way. Long loop trying to catch. Harrison Stride. He does. Shot stoned by Kirk. And he went back into his net. And we're back at the other end of the floor.
Starting to turn on a bit of a track meet. Oh, my.
Rose is flying out of the net. And here comes the captain, Brody Merrill. O'Connor had a great opportunity. Bodies flying here at the ACC. There's Stephen LeBlanc on the right wing. He has Schreiber on the left to look for. Lane cleared. And LeBlanc. That was an easy stop by Kirk. And coming out in the transition, went top shelf for Rose, and it sails into the stands.
That ball went off Rose. He got a piece of it. That's why New England's getting the ball back.
Buchanan on the right wing directing traffic. Little stutter step. Someone's out there. Stick Damon Edwards for a moment.
Damon Edwards had his stick pulled right out of his hands, or at least that's what he was trying to tell the referee.
Picks it back up. There's Buchanan reared back, and that went off of Rose's shoulder. Shanny, that was just pure power.
It sure was. Buchanan's third goal now.
Oh, give him a hat trick. Look at this. This is just a lot of force.
He's got 3 of the last 4 goals. New England on a 4-goal run. 3 of them coming from Kevin Buchanan.
And we talked, Shanny, okay, who's going to step up in the absence of Sean Evans? Well, when you can rely on a veteran like Kevin Buchanan, his 11th goal of the season, it makes missing a guy like Evans a whole lot easier. Oakes with the assist. Nice game for the 8th overall pick in this past draft. Manny receives in the neutral zone. 10:45 left in the third. And the Rock, flat-footed, have not scored yet in this third quarter. Culp takes it on the right side.
Rock have not scored since first 5 minutes of the second quarter.
Wow. A dump by Crowley. Loose ball to grounder. Picked up by Jesse Gamble. Speedy number 4. Gamble one-on-one. Jesse Gamble puts his shoulder down. And his shot was on the near side wide. Catch off the hop, Schreiber.
Not a great shot by Gamble, but great recovery by Schreiber, although the shot clock is winding down.
10 seconds. McCardle's the ex-basketball player, but Schreiber with the hops and another overhand hurl. But once more, stoned by Kirk. And now the Black Wolves back the other way. Mauled was Bucktooth. And there's Suttons. A 2-on-2.
Bucktooth did a good job just to not get stripped of that ball with 2 Rock defenders all over him.
And the very dangerous Kevin Buchanan has a shorthanded goal and 2 at even strength. Black Wolves really seem to be in a groove right now. Billy Hostrauser pushing off the forward. Whoa. And Brody Merrill leveled his man, and no, there was a stop. Oh, Billy Hostrauser! He hit it with his helmet on! Billy Hostrauser! And I can't tell who the New England player is. He didn't want any part of it. Hostrauser just decked whoever that was.
Well, the shot was taken after the shot clock. That's why it didn't count, and Hostrauser didn't like that, and that's why he went right after him.
Scolding! Billy Hostrauser scolding the New England Black Wolves. He just reared. Whoever that Black Wolves player was, Shandy, he's lucky his elbow's on, because otherwise that head might have been up in the second or third row here. My goodness. We'll sort all this out. We'll take a break. Black Wolves lead the Rock 7-5 in the third quarter. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada.
This copyright telecast of the National Lacrosse League Incorporated may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the National Lacrosse League. Welcome back to the ACC here in downtown Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. 7-5 New England up on Toronto, and Shanny, the nastiness, the physicality just got turned up about 10 notches as Billy Hostrauser, my goodness, just went rogue.
Yeah.
Smacked the guy, and the Rock are going to be shorthanded.
They're actually not, and I'm surprised because the Rock was getting a delayed penalty on the play.
I see.
The late shot came in, so the referee must have called New England for taking the shot after.
Offsetting.
Somehow it's offsetting, but we'll hear what happened in a minute as far as the penalties go.
A lucky break for Toronto. But we saw a fight with Phil Caputo and
Sheldon Burns. They were teammates last year. I wonder if they didn't like each other.
Get some frustrations out. And McCardle tackled in the crease. But New England does have a 2-goal lead. There's Coyle streaking down the right side. Coyle pushing back. He'll wait for reinforcements. Pivotal game as we are in week 10 of the NLL season in this East Division. Outside of Georgia, it's quite tight. Riley O'Connor, second-year pro. High pass snared by Crowley. Crowley undressed the defender, Gilbert, and Rose lost the outlet pass. Went out of his stick, but no Blackwolf player there to take advantage. Quick outlet snap pass was Challen Rogers. Tom Schreiber sidestep his way into New England territory. Plays catch with Littner. Littner tries to create some space. There's Stefan LeBlanc weaving his way through. Ball knocked free. Rhino trying to create some interference. Thread the needle to Littner, but it was broken up by Suddens.
Well, whether you credit New England or fault Toronto, Toronto's offense has done nothing.
No. And when they have had a chance, Shannon, you've had Evan Kirk, who has been lights out.
Yeah, he really turned up his game in the second quarter.
And he was pulled in the last game. There's O'Connor with some space. Went near side, went behind the net, and it was called for a crease. Crowley was going for a little sneak tap there. 8 minutes to go in the third. Rock have not scored in this second half. Tom Schreiber pulled back to the zone, sent it back to the point. A lot of space, and Kirk saw it all the way.
Too much of a wind-up for Reinhold there. That just allowed Kirk to come out and close the door.
I said it once before tonight, Shannon, but you really missed that one-touch expertise of Casey Bierns, where that ball is never in his stick for more than a second.
You're absolutely right.
Rock coming up, and Latrell Harris rumbling over center to get over before that 8-second mark. Harris stays on the floor. Harris with some space. Harris dives. And it went over the top of the net. We see Latrell Harris in spurts can just go to another gear. Harris tiptoed along that crease, scars! A little Texas two-step along the top of the crease. And the Rock of their 6th goal.
Well, Harris gets his third goal of the season just after making a nice play to almost score. He stays on the floor for the Rocks' offense, cuts to the net, and nice finish, as you said. He tiptoes just outside of the crease.
18 years old, and the upside on this kid, Shanny, wow.
I'll tell you, he doesn't look like an 18-year-old.
No. 6 feet, 215 pounds. And just think, if you're 18, Shanny, there's room to grow there, too, weight-wise.
This is ridiculous. He'll go back and play Junior A lacrosse this summer for St. Catherine Athletics after playing in the NLL with the best men in the world.
That's crazy. And a kick save by Rose. That was a key one. As the Rock try to get some of that momentum back. Magnuson, too hot to handle there for Reed Reinhold. Kirk went up. Whoa, and that ball bounces. Kirk tried to go snare it up in the air and almost cost him. Crease violation, so it is New England ball. Rock trail by 1, out shooting the Black Wolves now 40-29. But Evan Kirk has been a monster since about halfway through the first quarter onward. Buchanan looking for number 4 on the night. Buchanan went 5-hole. Rose said no. And a pass intended for Gilbert. Gilbert didn't see it though. And a 1-tip got away from Veltman.
Sloppy play by Toronto. They're fortunate that Veltman wasn't able to snag that ball.
And Billy Hostrauser. Right hand doesn't seem to be hurting from smashing the Black Wolves.
It seems like he never even went to the penalty box.
I know. Overhead a hurl, and it was wide, but Hickey gobbled up the rebound, tried to get it, and a nice opportunity there for Phil Caputo. He was being manhandled, still got a shot.
I'm shocked that he never drew a penalty on that play.
Yeah. And Caputo and now Zach Reed talking a little smack. 5:47 left in the third. All-time series between these two clubs is 3-2 in favor of the Rock. Magnuson with the rebound off the glass. Magnuson tries to get rivet and does to Bradley Cree. Magnuson hammered in front of his own bench.
Yeah, I was looking back on those penalties. It was Seth Oakes who took that late shot. He got 4 minutes in penalties for that, and that nullified the 2 penalties that were taken by Hostrauser and Brody Merrill.
So a break for the Rock there. Beautiful stop by Kirk.
Seth Oakes got the 10-minute gross misconduct.
Ooh, caught in stride. That's Sheldon Burns. Sheldon Burns has been great on both sides of the floor. He's had scoring opportunities, creating havoc on the transition, and very good defensively, too. Buchanan. And Culp lost his stick. Just put
the stick got
put his hands up. We have a penalty.
Well, Toronto might have got away with one by Gamble when he had 2 sticks for a while, but they got called on the holding call to Brody Merrill as he was trying to cover Kevin Crowley.
And we will sort this out. 4:40 to go in the third. The Black Wolves lead the Rock 7-6. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
That's impossible.
Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada.
.440 to go in the third quarter. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. 7-6, the visiting Black Wolves up on the Toronto Rock on Star Wars night.
Rock, and he has been a big difference since second quarter on.
And out-of-town scoreboard, Rochester at Buffalo. What's that score at, Shanny?
That score is 11-9 in the fourth quarter. I'm not sure how much time is left. 11-9 for Buffalo.
For the Bandits. Wow, quick shot by O'Connor. Ball ricochets around the glass, picked up by the Bandits. Culp gets rid of it.
There's definitely less than 5 minutes to go in that game, though.
Right, and Brody Merrill is in the penalty box for Toronto, so power play for the Black Wolves. Minute 30 left on that. Man advantage is Veltman. Veltman way off target, but went right back to New England again. There's Riley O'Connor. Sidearm whip. Another rebound. 4 seconds left to shoot, though. Bouncer right into the belly of Nick Rose. Ball still free, though, and Toronto will come up with it. There's Latrell Harris trying to get over center before the 8 seconds he does. Latrell Harris got rid of it to the weak side. Waits, and Sandy Chapman will have to hold back. Didn't want to shoot it there from an awkward angle. 53 seconds to kill for Toronto. Their penalty kill is 8th in the NLL. Just 2 shorthanded goals compared to 10 shorthanders for New England. They had one tonight, too. A one-arm.
It's a nice effort, but a lot of power behind that shot.
Yeah.
Went wide. But those are tough ones for goalies to stop. You suddenly change the angle when you switch hands like that.
It's an unorthodox delivery by Reed Reinhold. Those 2 goals tonight. New England, though, looking for number 8 and regain that 2-goal cushion. 3 minutes even to go in the third. Open look for Culp. Kicked it back to the right side. And Culp gets it off the boards. Culp went high in behind the goaltender. And Rose readjusts. And the Rock get rid of it. Oh, and falling. Hold on now. Damon Edwards. Damon Edwards is favoring, looks like his left knee or left leg as he heads off. He just, Shane, that looked like one of those just collapse on your own moments, which we talked about how scary that is.
Yeah.
Hopefully nothing too serious for Damon Edwards, who overcame a serious knee injury not that long ago. Giant rebound off the backboards behind Nick Rose. And the Black Wolves just keep going back, Shanny, to that.
Was way off target.
Yeah.
That penalty. They missed a few times by like 6 feet, it looked like.
Exactly. That's now we're back to even strength. But the Black Wolves just keep trying to set up behind Nick Rose all night. Hasn't worked out yet. Caputo. The nice tap opportunity. 24 seconds on the shot clock. Rock trying to tie it up. Schreiber being pushed back. Schreiber had a lane created. Back to the point. Reed Reinhold.
Nice
Changed
save.
direction, and that was a gorgeous stop.
Now, you mentioned New England going behind Nick Rose behind the net, and it hasn't worked for them, but if nothing else, it forces him to back up and open something up for the outside shots, and they've done that a few times.
Yeah, and then he has to readjust. You're right.
They go again there.
Minute 42 remaining in the third. There's Buchanan. Has a hat trick tonight. Off the mark.
Toronto's having a hard time containing his footwork.
Yeah. A toe save, and it went right to New England. Went right to Kevin Crowley.
He just wasn't able to handle that hot rebound.
Yeah, handcuffed him for a moment. He was all alone for a second. Toronto, here's Hickey. Hickey on the left side. And McCardle scooped it up. McCardle stumbling back. And the right idea, trying to get it inside in the low post, but couldn't find his man. Now the Black Wolves soaring over the floor. And there's Sheldon Burns again. Real impressive night. He's not going to show up much on the stat sheet, but Sheldon Burns. 47 seconds to go in the third. Veltman dishes. Too far for Crowley. That was just a bad pass.
Smart play by Nick Rose. He didn't want the shot clock to start till as late as possible with just about 35 seconds to go in the quarter.
A little scoop. Game clock at 25, shot clock at 20. The Rock trying to set up one more play. 10 to shoot, Caputo. Hickey in the slot, and that offering was blocked. Reed Reinhold redirected. So now, 6 seconds left for the Black Wolves. They'll have a chance for one more here. There's Manny. 1 second left. And it will hit 0. So we head into the fourth quarter with the New England Black Wolves ahead of the Toronto Rock 7-6. Don't go anywhere. This is setting up for a great finish. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
on the take, scores!
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot. Hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
He's got Digby on the take, scores!
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot. Hit the goal post.
Back to start the fourth quarter here at the Air Canada Centre. Bradley Cree and Jay Thornbert off the draw. Cree for the Rock. 1-7-9 draws in the first half. Been a pleasant surprise for Toronto, who haven't had a great face-off man in, well, seemingly forever. After 3 quarters, it's the New England Black Wolves up 7-6, and they nearly extended that lead to 2 again. The Rock in their special Star Wars themed charity jerseys tonight. Black Wolves white, orange, and black. Crowley went far side. The big man's been kept in check for the last little bit, but he can just turn it on at will. And Kevin Buchanan, the footwork, went for the sidearm skipper into the crowd. Should be Toronto ball. And Shandy, you were right. The footwork of Buchanan, the Rock just have not had an answer for.
No, absolutely. And, you got some big picks being thrown out there by Crowley, even when he's not bringing the ball to the net. He throws a big pick and makes all kinds of room for his teammate.
The Rock, here's Kieran McCardle spinning out of trouble. 10 seconds. Got rid. There's LeBlanc. LeBlanc and scores! Yes, they will count it. LeBlanc with the quick pass. They came from the left side, went to LeBlanc and over.
Dan Lindner finished it off. And Lindner was actually wide open there, and he had been quiet since he got hurt early, I believe in the first quarter.
Right.
When he went down for a while, looked like a rib injury. And I thought he was out of sorts, but he scores a nice one there for the Toronto Rock.
7th of the season, and there's a little bit of a hesitation because Kirk had slid the net off, so we're looking to see what happened. But Toronto has tied it up at 7 off of a gorgeous assist from Stefan LeBlanc, and Dan Littner converts. And Tom Schreiber with the other helper. And now it's the Black Wolves who are on their heels. And that ball just kept soaring over everybody. Damon Edwards back on the floor, we should say, so it does not look like it was a serious injury on the left side. That left leg, he kind of fell and grabbed it, went to the bench, so good news there. Oh, and a turnover. There's Crowley. Wow. That shot was 100 miles an hour, but it did not find the net.
And as dangerous as Crowley's been, his shooting has been off.
It has. Crowley trying to back his way in. And somehow through traffic, Culp was able to get a shot away, and a quality one. Crowley only 1 goal tonight so far. The big man winding back. Went behind the net, trying to get Rose to hunker back again and then come back out. And Shanny, you brought it up. Maybe that's part of the strategy here because Rose has to, of course, go back in the net, and then they kick it back to the point, and you get that much more net to look at.
Yeah, it does force him to stop coming out.
And scores! Now, that was through all sorts of traffic. Brett Hickey
I'll be absolutely shocked if I don't see a flag come on this one, Andy.
They got to have a flag.
I think it's negligent if they don't throw it.
So look, Clark
well, Glenn Clark is watching.
Hickey was.
Oh, there goes the flag.
There it is. Was backing up with Coyle and Manny.
Way to go, Glenn Clark. I would have had to badmouth him if he didn't throw that flag. I'm not saying that it wasn't a good goal. I don't know, but it was close enough that you've got to check it out.
At 7-7 in the fourth quarter, this is the time to challenge. Britt Hickey, you saw on the screen say, "Oh, it's good, it's good." yeah, don't worry about it.
A goal scorer always says his goals are good.
Yeah, sure.
Defenders always say throw the flag.
And no one's fault ever on a penalty. Yeah, such is sports. Here we go. We're seeing what the officials are looking at
now,
here.
He's awfully close, I know that. Like, I can't tell from there whether there's space.
No.
I think while he's in the air, it's fine. I think the key is whether he was in the crease when he jumped.
Now that's interesting.
Now watch.
Okay, 1 foot.
Right about there. Is his foot in the crease when he jumps?
That's a bit far away. If we could get that but closer.
There has not been an angle that has been definitive. Now let's see what happens here.
Okay. See Hickey through the double team.
Now, there you can't see. It's awfully close, but you can't see, you know.
It looks like he's airborne. It looks like he was in the air. That might be a good goal.
Well, from Toronto's point of view, it doesn't matter whether it's good or not. If it can't be proven to be bad,
it has to be.
They get the call.
Yeah, you have to see enough for the official to overturn it. Okay.
And I think I'll be shocked if that's not a good goal.
Let's see. Good goal. Count it. Brett Hickey muscling his way to the net. Second goal of the night. And the Rock have retaken the lead after being down 7-5 in the third quarter.
And that's still a good flag. This is still a good call by Glenn Clark.
You have to. It was so close, you had to do it.
I'm still not sure that he didn't step in the crease, but you don't know whether they've got an angle that's going to prove it or not. It just so happens that there was no angles there that could definitively show that he stepped in the crease.
Yeah, it was absolutely worthwhile doing it. And a penalty coming to Bradley Cree as Evan Kirk hustles to the bench for the extra attacker. Buchanan back to Crowley. Top of the point. Clicks with Crowley. Yeah, Bucktooth setting up in the high post there. Crowley with some oh boy. Whoa. And we talked about Kevin Crowley
shot being off. It wasn't off there. Yeah.
He says, "Hey Shanny, how about that one?"
Yeah.
Near side, low corner. Oh my.
Well, no need to bring that power play on the floor.
The extra man on. Take a look. Pinpoint accuracy.
He just seemed to catch Nick Rose leaning the wrong way.
Second of the night for Crowley. As his 25th of the season. So, we're all tied up at 8. Shots 45-38 in favor of the Toronto Rock. Scoreboard hasn't changed yet, but it will. And now, Black Wolves, extra hop in their step. And we got in behind the defense all alone.
That was a huge save, defensive miscue by Toronto.
Leaving all alone, and there's Brody Merrill. The offense got back, and Kirk, a left pad stop.
Yeah, Schreiber got a lot behind that shot. Kirk still on his game.
Oh, Kirk has been sensational. Nick Rose the other way as well. Really good. Bucktooth throws an elbow. Yeah, Kyle Buchanan trying to clear some space. Kyle Buchanan went to go in the back door, but Jesse Gamble was all over him. Jesse Gamble with the lumberjack chop on Bucktooth. And through the crease call. So it will be Toronto possession. And there's the speedy veteran, Jesse Gamble. Whoa. And that was close to Kieran McCardle. Pass looking for McCardle, went out the back door, and some stick work. Phil Caputo unable to finish it. Trying to deke out. There's Schreiber overhand top, and Kirk again. Tom Schreiber did absolutely everything he could there, except get it by Evan Kirk.
A couple of good efforts by Phil Caputo, then Schreiber.
Evan Kirk is playing unconscious right now. Looking every bit like the goaltender of the year. New England pushing back. They've already had 4 games go to overtime this year, won 2 of them.
Is that footwork again and that hard shot by Kevin Buchanan.
The Rock have just not been able to figure that out. Loose ball scramble, Rock ball. Toronto will try to start quick from it. Brody Merrill gobbles it up off the near boards. Stephen LeBlanc shuffling. Does that patented swim move. LeBlanc back, weak side on the left. To LeBlanc with some space at the top. Ran out of real estate, though. Right on to Kirk. No rebound. Here's Spanger.
Well, we got a couple of Orangeville boys battling in the nets on both ends, and they're both playing great.
They are dueling right now. There's Crowley. And I think that went off the nub of the stick of Nick Rose to keep that out. Chandler Rogers off his back foot. There's Billy Hostrauser. There's Jesse Gamble with him. Finds Gamble on the right side. Off the bench, Caputo. And Evan Kirk somehow kept it out. But the Rock get a fresh 30 on that shot clock.
Well, Caputo cuts hard. He's making things happen. Hasn't been able to get the shot in there, but he's created a couple of good scoring chances from cutting to the net very hard.
Again, that size, 6'3". And Kieran McCardle ran to 3 white jerseys. Whoa, hold on now. Kieran McCardle has his lid knocked off.
Put the whistle. Oh, no. I was going to say the referees put a whistle away, but they're calling Toronto for a penalty.
Really?
McCardle got tackled.
He got tackled and swung around. His helmet flew off. 8:32 left in the fourth quarter, tied at 8.
New England scored the last 6 on 5 they had.
Yeah, empty cage for the Black Wolves. Crowley now got rid of it. Back to the right side, 4 to shoot. Trying to get Rose going the other way. Knocked free by Bucktooth. Still got and Nick Rose hugging that post. So we'll see what the penalty is when we come back. Tied at 8, 8:15 to go in the fourth. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
Versus Week 9. It's a good one. Mitch Jones of the Bandits going up against Dan Dawson of the Nighthawks. Take a look at the champion play. Dawson, behind the back, below the waist shot, and beats Nick Rose. Gonna have a second look at this one. And this goal, of course, took down Curtis Dixon. Also had the behind the back, below the waist shot, also against Nick Rose. Now we look at the challenger. Mitch Jones falling on his face, scores. Wow. Second effort gets him the goal. He's got Hostrauser on top of him and still manages to put it in. What's with the trend of all these versus goals being scored against the Rock? School also doing a great job of setting the stage for the duel between the Bandits and Nighthawks this weekend. Who have you got, Dan Dawson? Or do you have Mitch Jones, ladies and gentlemen? Head to Twitter now. Cast your vote. We need your help.
Back down at the ACC in Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. And it looks like our out-of-town scoreboard here, a final between Rochester and Buffalo. Shanny, what do we got?
13-9 for the Buffalo Bandits at home.
Okay. And they will play again at 1 o'clock tomorrow in Rochester for the second of their home and home. So the Bandits improved to 4-5. Rochester falls to 3-7. And that's why, in part, why this match is so important between New England and the Rock, who are tied at 8 with 8:15 to go in the fourth. With the Toronto win, they would go 6-3. Black Wolves would fall to 3-7 with the Nighthawks. If the Black Wolves win, they tie in amount of wins with the Bandits. Shanny, it's so tight. Like this, if the Black Wolves pull this out, this really muddles up the entire East.
Yeah, everything just gets tighter.
Yeah, outside of
and
Georgia.
A penalty going to New England. I have to believe
bit of a makeup
that they were looking for a makeup call, because we saw Kieran McCardle get mugged.
Yeah.
And sent to the penalty box for slash.
His helmet flew off. So now it's evened up and all's right in the world.
Minor penalty, number 9, 2 minutes, holding the stick.
So it goes to Riley O'Connor. It's had a nice game. You can really see the building blocks in place with Riley O'Connor on this New England Black Wolves team, Shanny. Like, he's so good at the junior level, and in year 2, he's really growing up.
Yeah, last year, I believe he scored 6 goals the whole season in 18 games. He's already surpassed that. I think he's got his 8th today.
Very impressive. Stephen LeBlanc, point blank range, and Kirk turned it aside.
And LeBlanc got everything behind that
he
shot.
Did. All his 200 pounds behind that. And now Zach Reed will wait for the offense to come on. 50 shots by the Rock this evening, 41 for the Black Wolves.
4-on-4 lacrosse, we don't see it too often, but it's just great for offense.
Yeah, a lot of space. Went behind the back, offering there by Veltman. And Rose is already tied to that left post. Brody Merrill in stride off the bench. Found Hickey. Back to the point. And Reed Reinhold, who has a couple of goals tonight. Reinhold pulled back, and there's not enough room to find Caputo, who's able to scoop up the loose ball anyway. Over to LeBlanc. And that shot was poked away by Thornbird off the back glass. Caputo in on it. But then Coyle picked it up. And he'll bring it up the floor. All tied at 8. In an important Week 10 East Division matchup at 9:30, Calgary into Colorado on NLL TV, and then 3 games tomorrow as well. Toe stop by Rose and a giant rebound.
I think that actually went off the post.
Oh. On that left side.
Unless he's got a very hard toe.
He might. He might. And McCardle out of the box. And now O'Connor. 5 on the shot clock. Ball sails right in front of the New England bench. And it will be Rock possession. There's Billy Hostrauser. Snap pass to the left.
This is shaping up to be a finish like we saw against Georgia a few weeks ago.
What a raucous finish that was. Swarm won that in overtime, of course. Reinhold dishes. Reinhold calling for it in the low post. Ball kept to the outside. Reinhold finds it now in the right wing. LeBlanc trying to clear space. And Evan Kirk again. How does he keep doing it? Reinhold. And he and Evan Kirk falling back into the net. One too many passes there.
One too many passes. That ball floated so slowly that
it did.
Dan Littner was behind the net before he could catch it.
It just hung.
Would have looked pretty maybe if it was a harder pass, but.
Oh, and there's a one-touch swap right back to New England. 12 on the shot clock. Blackwell's buzzing here. There's Bucktooth. Bucktooth with a rocket. Off the backboards, there's Brody Merrill. The captain turns on the Jets. A 2-on-2. Merrill might do it himself. He does, and scores! Scores the captain! Kirk got a piece of it underneath the crossbar. And the Rock are up 9-8.
Did we not see this 2 weeks ago against Georgia? Brody Merrill actually had a third man coming off the bench. He didn't realize it. He doesn't like to shoot usually. He likes to look to give it to the shooter, and he had Hickey, who's got maybe the best shot on the team, but this time Brody Merrill took the shot and didn't go straight in, but it went in.
It went in, and Shannon, you know what? You said Evan Kirk has been anticipating the shots and the passes all night. Maybe he just didn't expect Merrill to shoot that one.
I didn't. Especially with third man coming off the bench, an offensive power like Hickey coming off the bench. I don't think Merrill was aware that he had that extra option.
Captain leading by example, McCardle. And that was wide behind Kirk. And now here come the Black Wolves, a 2-on-1 for a moment. There's Reed, and it is off the mark.
Toronto's lucky they never got called for too many men on the floor because they left the bench early. And I'm sure the New England bench is letting the referee know that.
Under 4 minutes to go as this is shaping up to be quite the finish. The Big Daddy Kevin Crowley. One-hand swat was blocked by a Toronto body. Crowley again, the ball redirected.
Toronto's done a pretty good job getting their sticks in front of the last few shots.
And a shot clock violation will bring us to our final break of the fourth quarter. 9-8, the Rock lead the Black Wolves. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
So not necessarily his performance just this week, but his performance from this entire season so far is the reason why Craig England is my unstrung hero for this week.
Yeah, Craig England continues to get better. And if you look at that Buffalo Bandits team, every player is so excited when he gets a goal and kind of, tapping their sticks. And he really adds a lot of energy to that lineup. And I think he's been an important member of that club. Like you said, not had the greatest start, but really ignites this team and adds some energy into that lineup.
And what an amazing story it is, because he's bounced from a couple of different teams, but it seems like he's really found his rhythm and his place on this Bandits roster. So I'm just excited to see how the rest of the season turns out for him.
Don't miss your chance to see all the action live this season on NLLTV.com. Sign up for the NLL Pass to watch all the games or your favorite team. Plus, you get exclusive content, highlights, interviews, and more. Well, welcome back to the ACC in Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. What a finish we're setting up for here. 3:45 to go. The Rock lead the Black Wolves 9-8. You can join the conversation on Twitter at NLL, at AndyMC81, at SPD Shanny, and use the hashtag NE versus Tor. Shanny, this one has been close all night. The biggest lead, I think, was the Black Wolves at 7-5.
Yeah, I think 2-goal lead is the biggest lead of the game. And you get the feeling it's not over yet.
No, not by a long shot.
Somebody's missing a stick.
And Schreiber with that power, and it got underneath Kirk. But he was able to sit down on it. And both goalies really turning it on tonight. Nick Rose leads the league in goals against average under 10. Kirk, the stat line isn't pretty, over 13, but tonight he's really playing like the NLL goaltender of the year that he was in 2016. There's Crowley. Back and went for the weak side one-touch tap. Intended for Riley O'Connor. Could not convert, though.
And we've got guys losing sticks, seems like every possession. There was a stick in the middle of the floor. I think it was a Toronto defender.
Jesse Gamble with the pass to Littner on the left side. Nine. Let's have another look at this one, Shannon.
Buchanan just laid up on this shot. Watch as he comes around the screen and just kind of floats it, but a nice
that kind of
screen.
Knuckled.
Yeah, that's, you know, his other goals have been rockets. I'm not saying that was a soft shot, but it definitely didn't have the velocity his first 3 goals did.
Kind of like a pitcher going from a fastball to a changeup, just sometimes taking something off that can confuse the batter, in this case the goalie. We're all tied at 9, folks. 2:21 to go. As the Buffalo Bandits have won over the Rochester Nighthawks to grab their 4th win of the year. How's this one going to finish? Got caught up in the feet of Stephen LeBlanc. Near corner. LeBlanc coming back. Clicks to Schreiber. To Reinhold, and Kirk somehow slid across that crease line to make the stop.
He may have been in the net when he made that save.
Yeah, he's been knocking that net around quite a bit tonight. Minute 49 left. What do we have here?
I don't know.
Now that came after.
Did Toronto throw the flag? Oh, you know what it is. The last 2 minutes, they've got to review the possibility that might be a goal. There's no flags thrown in the last 2 minutes, but the referees review. So this could be close.
It was Reed Reinhold on the right.
I don't think that's a goal, and it looks like referee Todd LeBranch has already decided that as well.
On the field is confirmed. No goal.
No goal. No surprise there. Locked at 9. Black Wolves ball. This is the only game for these two teams this weekend. We have Rochester and Buffalo going back-to-back. Calgary, after facing Colorado in Colorado this evening, will return home to take on the Georgia Swarm. And what a powerhouse they've been this year at 7-1.
Well, there's still 1 minute and 49 seconds to go, but if this does go to overtime, this will be the 4th overtime game for New England this year.
Yeah, it would be they've had 4, it'd be number 5 for the Black Wolves, and they've lost 2 of them. And that's what Glenn Clark was telling us before, just a hop here or there, and it could be a whole different season. Crowley, whoa. Went near side, going for that placement where he got the last goal. And the Rock here with a 2-on-2. Brody Merrill not going to shoot this time. Thread the needle to Hickey coming off the bench. Hickey pulls back. Hickey clicks with LeBlanc. Plays catch with him now. 10 on the shot clock. And just over a minute left in the 4th. Went for a sidearm skipper. Giant rebound. He got it again off the post. And that went 5 rows up behind the Rock bench there.
And that will get the Rock the ball back.
So 30
fortunate
seconds
for Hickey to get his own rebound and get that last shot on net.
Last minute of play. 28 to shoot for Toronto. To Kieran McCardle on the crease. Was looking for Caputo. And now the Black Wolves on the turnover have a shot. There's Burns. 34 seconds.
15 on the shot clock.
Oh. O'Connor on the floor. There's Kyle Buchanan. Kyle Buchanan sent back. Hey, Crowley would have had an open look. He would have had some space. Couldn't connect, though. Hold on now. There's the captain, Brody Merrill, in the neutral zone. Pulling it back, and
Toronto calls a timeout.
Toronto will call a timeout. So, Shannon, you got 13.2 seconds left. I'm assuming you'll pull Nick Rose.
Yes.
For the extra attacker. Oh, boy. See the Rock huddling up there. And, Shannon, I don't even know how you really try to game plan Kirk. He stopped just about everything. Is the idea to just try to get him moving?
Yeah, I think you want to get him moving. And as I've said many times, these plays, 6-on-5 plays, are plays with options, and it depends how the defense closes things off as to what option you want to take. But you can guess that their first options will be to Hickey, Merrill, Schreiber.
Yep. All right. Nick Rose is out of the net.
Generally, they put a man in the middle. It looks like it's going to be Schreiber, and you hope that closes things off a bit because they have to be honest enough to make sure he can't get the shot. That opens up things for the outside.
Yeah, Reinhold and LeBlanc on the right side, McCardle and Hickey on the left. 7 seconds left. There's Reinhold. Reinhold, little swim moving behind. Back to the point, and it got redirected. 1 second left, and we are headed to overtime for the second straight home game for Toronto as Burns and Hickey are pushing after the whistle. So some free lacrosse here again, Shanny.
Well, the coaches might not like the overtime, but the fans sure do.
Oh. So this is what this game means in the standings again. So let's recap. We have Buffalo winning tonight over Rochester. They'll play again tomorrow afternoon in Rochester. So Buffalo improves to 4-5. Rochester remains in last at 3-7. The Black Wolves lose. They also go to 3-7. If they win, they move to 4-6, stay under Buffalo, but have the same amount of wins. And the Rock, if they win, that's a nice cushion for second. Losing those, Shanny, puts them at 5-4.
If New England wins this game, all of a sudden Buffalo and New England are that much closer to the Toronto Rock.
Yeah, and what an interesting season for the Rochester Nighthawks. Retooling, a lot of excitement from the youth side. got the great goaltending, but they've just been inconsistent.
Yeah, I just don't think they're good enough yet, but then they've surprised me a few times. You know, they beat the Toronto Rock here in Toronto that one game. And
9-8, yeah.
Last week they went into Vancouver, and they were down 6-4 at the half and came back to win 12-8.
And stormed back. So, next week, and you can see it on the board there, Colin Doyle retirement night. So we're with you the next 2 weeks here at the ACC. Calgary Roughnecks and then the Colorado Mammoths for a special St. Patrick's Day evening. We'll be wearing our green then, Shane.
Couple of big weeks, yes. Colin Doyle retirement and then St. Patrick's Day.
Colin Doyle.
And we're right on St. Patrick's Day this year. So.
Yeah, it will be. The green bevies will be flowing, I'm sure, at the ACC. But we have some unfinished business here. This is where, Shenny, the quality of your face-off man means a lot. And you got two of the best in the game. Bradley Crease, 61.5% wins coming into tonight. Jade Thornburg, just shy of 59.
Yeah, it's surprising how often
Thornburg wins
these overtime games end within the first minute or two.
And Thornburg
sometimes the first possession.
Oh, and Cree was saying his stick was being held by Coyle.
I think he was also trying to say that that was an over and back call, but the ball was knocked loose.
He doesn't get anything on either of those. And now it's the Black Wolves. Keep an eye on Kevin Buchanan. He has 4 goals tonight. And, of course, Kevin Crowley. That ball goes into the stick of Nick Rose. There's Jesse Gamble. The speedy transition
thinks
specialist.
about.
Gamble tries to set a pick. You got Brett Hickey there. He'll pull back.
One of the best overtimes I saw was Toronto Rock's first year. They pulled their goalie.
Really?
On a sneak play. So they didn't even, the opposition didn't even see it coming.
Stefan LeBlanc and Kirk diving to keep it out. Sudden death. Next goal wins. Body sprawled on the turf here. Sutton picks it up finally. There's Brett Bucktooth. Chugs over center. There's Chad Culp on the right side. Culp trying to deke out his man. Centers up. There's Kevin Buchanan. Culp rinds back, and it goes into the Rock stick. And Crush. Chapman turns invisible and rumbles up the floor. O'Connor looked up and said, what happened? Rock's offense now on the floor. Sudden death overtime. Here's Hickey. They got burned against the Georgia Swarm 2 weeks ago. Reinhold. LeBlanc! No! It is called. The referee.
Oh, look at this.
Hold on now. Oh, boy. The referee has blown it off. The Rock thinks it's over.
Well, they were on the floor celebrating. You know they're going to overlook this. I thought it looked good, but let's see.
Brendan Miller,
No, that's a good call.
Is on the floor.
That's a good call. Steph LeBlanc had half a foot in the crease.
Official was right there.
Yeah, he must have just got so excited. I don't think this will take long from what we saw.
It might not be a popular call, Shanny, but it's the right one.
Yeah.
We'll have another look. Yep.
Yeah, that's not even close.
Game of inches. Half of a foot from this one being over.
Yeah, these extra replays aren't even necessary.
No. And that's when the official is that quick, you know. It's going with the original call. Let's make it official. No goal. No goal.
Well, it's a mandatory boo by the home crowd.
It's the right call.
Even though every fan in the arena knows it was the right call, they saw what we saw.
You still
boo the ref.
You hope, yeah. You hope maybe there was something.
We don't care if it's the right call. You're ruining our evening is what they're saying.
That's right. And now the Black Wolves will get a chance to put this away in sudden death overtime. 56-44 shots in favor of Toronto. Evan Kirk has been sensational. Nick Rose as well.
This guy's been dangerous.
4 goals tonight. His footwork is next level. And again, dekes out his man. Coming back. Oh, and that was from his backside, Kyle Buchanan, but Rose got in the way. Buchanan to Buchanan there. Harris rolling up. Remember, he had a big goal in that loss. Eventually lost to Georgia Swarm. Whoa! Caputo with the turnover. Caputo turned it over. And Kyle Buchanan cannot scoop up the loose ball. Wait, now they get it. Point blank range, and it is over. Sheldon Burns off of Phil Caputo turnover. No chance for Nick Rose. So the Rock crowd here goes from thinking they won the game to Sheldon Burns taking it in overtime. 10-9 Black Wolves.
A bit of a comedy of errors to lead to that goal. You can't put all the blame on Caputo. That was a bit of a dangerous flip pass from Latrell Harris to Caputo. He didn't handle it, but they appeared to recover from that as Kyle Buchanan couldn't cleanly pick up the ball.
So there you go. Disappointed. You see Nick Rose take a deep breath there. Shanny, great game here, but the New England Black Wolves. So this is how the East looks. I'm adjusting the standings as we speak with my pen. 4 and 5 are the Buffalo Bandits. The Nighthawks fall to 3 and 7. The Black Wolves now also have 4 wins, so they're still a half game back of Buffalo because the game's played. The Rock at 5 and 4. Now here's where it gets interesting, Shanny. If the Bandits sweep the weekend series against Rochester tomorrow afternoon, they tied the Rock with 5 wins, and a couple weeks ago we thought their season was just about done.
Yeah. You know, if they lost. They played New England a couple weeks ago, 2 games, lost the first one badly, and then won the next one in overtime. And how different would their season have been if they had lost that? Now 3 wins in a row for the Buffalo Bandits.
So the New England Black Wolves in their 5th overtime game of the season are now 3 and 2 when it goes to the extra frame. The Rock drop to 0 and 2 when it goes to extra time. Shanny, from the Rock side, there were some sloppy passes early. The defense, a couple of goals you'd want to get back just from being out-muscled.
Yeah.
But really, Evan Kirk, sometimes what do you do?
Yeah, Evan Kirk played a fantastic game, and you really got to hand it to New England, though. Coming in here without Sean Evans, their leader, their goal-scoring hero, and they just gutted it out and eventually got the win.
They did it. So for the Rock, settle down and think about next week when you play the Calgary Roughnecks, who at that point, Shanny, are going to be playing for their season because they're playing Colorado right now, depending how this weekend goes.
Yeah, depending how this weekend goes for Calgary, they could be a very desperate team.
Calgary at Colorado right now on NLL TV. Then they play the Georgia Swarm, who's 7 and 1. Well, final thought, Shanny, as we get ready to say goodbye.
Well, it was an exciting game. Great to get another overtime game. The home fans do not like it at all, though. This is 2 home games where the Toronto Rock have lost, 2 home games in a row where they've lost in overtime. Both games they had leads late in the game, and this one I'm sure the fans were even more upset as they, for a few seconds, they thought they had got the overtime victory. But
as
great
did the Rock bench.
Yes, exactly. The whole bench came on, but it was the right call by referee Todd LeBranche, and New England deserved the victory with the gutsy effort.
An amazing finish, no lead more than 2 goals. So that'll do it from us at the Air Canada Centre. So for our technical producer, Sean Jafarnajad and Brian Shanahan, I'm Andy McNamara. The New England Black Wolves win it in overtime, 10-9 over the Toronto Rock. We'll be back with you next week, March 11, for Colin Doyle night against the Calgary Roughnecks.